The worst part about streaming by far,
The fact that at any moment it could all disappear.
The mental mind games, I think, that you play with yourself.
it feels like you've let a bunch of people down and you're just like, are they gonna come back?
Pretty exhausting. And a lot of people as well on top of that won't ever recognize how exhausting that is.
Oh, I'm not trying to offend you or anything.
I think the worst part about streaming for me is that there's a massive misconception out there about how easy it is and how you can just go live, play games, and earn a crap load of money. Which is why I decided I would ask a bunch of my Twitch partner friends, people who have done this full time and have really pushed themselves to try and make this their career, about what the worst part of streaming is. And don't worry, I understand it's a very doom and gloom video, so I've also made sure to cover what the best parts of streaming are. And I think you'll be pretty interested to hear the results. So gang, what is the worst part of streaming?
Has to be that feeling that like, if you take a few days off, it feels like you're missing out on everything. If you miss a stream, it feels like you've let a bunch of people down and you're just like, are they gonna come back? And like having that mentality of like, I wanna take a holiday, but everyone says I can't take a holiday. Like a lot of streamers have that toxic mentality of, I can't take a week off. No one will come back. I'll lose all my viewership and then I'll be irrelevant. And I think that mentality is definitely the worst part about streaming.
I would say the worst part about streaming is probably the mental mind games, I think, that you play with yourself, whether it be dealing with burnout or just trying to live up to expectations for yourself that you just can't realistically keep up with. You know, I imagine most of us are working jobs outside of this. We have other commitments outside of streaming. You know, we're not robots. We are people too. For me, it was the fact that I basically worked full-time outside of streaming, and then at some point I kind of came to the realization that I could like focus more on streaming than I needed to, so I took time away from work. And then I went through a really rough personal time about like late last year, and then it just kind of all crashed and burned into the ground from there, you know. And coming back from that is hard. It's very difficult. Most of us don't manage to come back from it when we deal with stuff like that, because this whole thing is so reliant on you staying so consistent in people's faces all the time, and it's really hard to come back from a sudden drop in numbers, right? Like, I think in my peak I was like 120-ish average, and if I go live now it's like 50, right? Which I'm sure for most people would be like, I would love to have 50 people rock up to my streams, but it's like when you used to have that and then you don't have it anymore, it knocks you down a peg, you know. It's really hard to bounce back from something like that.
I think the worst part of streaming is definitely the pressure. I think the fact that at any moment it could all disappear. Everything you've worked for, because it's a month by month thing, it's not cumulative, you know. You don't get to a certain point and then you can't roll backwards, you know. You're always pushing the boulder up the hill, and if you ever let go, you're gonna get squashed. So it's quite a stressful job, and whenever you take time off, you know, for yourself or to go do something, there's something in the back of your mind that says, well, you know, this is all great that you're looking after yourself, but you could be working, you know. You are kind of wasting time, and it's just that permanent thing in your brain which tells you that you're never allowed to chill out. Content creators who have become successful are often driven by that fear, that they have to keep going and they have to keep getting better. So I think the large majority of people do experience that kind of stress, and yeah, it's an unfortunate side effect of being a content creator.
I'd probably say the worst part about streaming is having to learn how to deal with an audience and having to foster a nurturing relationship with them, but also trying to keep like a little bit of a distance, like so no sort of like parasocial relationships really build up. Because I've had instances in the past where a parasocial relationship has built up. It's taken a lot to get out of. Everyone has like a different interpretation of how like a parasocial relationship works. They're like, oh, but I'm not sending you disgusting things in the mail, so this is fine. It's like, yeah, but like you might be asking questions about like my life that I don't know how you got that information. Like, it can get scary quick.
The worst part about it, possibly for me, would just having to be on 24/7. And I mean, like, I know you're saying streaming, but I guess in encompassing as a content creator, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is check my phone, check my emails, check my DMs. Like, I am constantly on, and it is pretty exhausting. And a lot of people as well on top of that won't ever recognize how exhausting that is.
Damn, the worst part of streaming for me, I'll have to say it after we cover a bit more positivity, because we've had too much doom and gloom. Gang, what is the best part of being a streamer, or the best part of streaming in general?
The interaction of everything, you know, meeting people that you just enjoy spending time with. I don't find myself to be that much of a social person outside of streaming. Surprise, surprise, a little bit introverted, but like streaming is just such an easy way to just put yourself out there, meet people that are fun to talk to, you have a good time, you come out of it and you're just like, man, maybe talking to people isn't so bad. And then you meet people IRL, you're like, no, I definitely still don't like this.
My favorite part, oh my goodness, I think streaming is just the community. Like, it's just such a cool thing to be able to meet people around the world and being able to work with them in a way that you're just creating something so fun. I personally love being able to be creative and being fully transparent, you know, getting paid for it, like getting paid to be creative and, you know, entertain people in a way. I think it's just the coolest thing. I love it so much.
Best part of stream. Well, it's the same thing. It's the community. It's being able to make friends online. It's that. It's that double-edged sword. Streaming is being able to make friends online and being able to find a community that you didn't know existed, and just being able to connect with just like-minded people that, yeah, you just wouldn't have been able to find anywhere else.
Just the culture, the community that you can build, the amount of support that someone will give some person that they have never met before just because they enjoy watching them on a screen is absolutely insane. Because like, it's not ad revenue, it's the support of your community. The fact that they're willing to not just watch your content for free, that they can, like, they don't have to support, and no streamer's expecting people to support. They gift subs, they tell their friends. It's just, it's crazy that like you've never met these people and you might never meet these people.
The best part of streaming is quite similar to the worst part of streaming. So the worst part being, you know, you have this stress that it's all within your own power. But the best part is that it is all within your own power. You know, you can do whatever you want. You can create stuff. You can be creative. It's a job where you don't get told, here is your box. You can go right to the edges of it, but you can never go out of it. With content creation, you know, you can really just do so many different things, and it can support so many different types of people. You can do science, you could do gaming, you could do art. It's just every possible shade of things under the sun, and you can try them all, and you can make it into something which can sustain you, as compared to usually when you say, oh, I want to pursue this thing that's really fanciful that I really enjoy. Most people will tell you, you know, there's no shot you're ever going to make money out of that, because who's going to pay you to do that? But the great thing about, you know, being, I suppose, an entertainer is that you can entertain using pretty much anything, and you can pursue what you want to do.
Everyone always says that the best part of live streaming is the interaction, and I agree with that to an extent. But it is also a very double-edged sword, because I think one of the worst parts of live streaming is also that interaction. Let me explain. That live interaction, while it's amazing to see people posting laughing every time you tell a joke, it also means that you're constantly receiving feedback about how well you're doing, which means all the negative feedback, maybe someone saying a slur, trolls follow botting you, just all the different things that could go wrong. Someone maliciously doxing you and posting your phone number or your real name in your chat. These things happen while live, and it doesn't matter how talented you are, how solid you are, how much you have a perfect mental health, it'll still get to you to a degree. Someone can ruin your stream. Look at it this way. Imagine I give you your favorite sandwich. I don't know what that is. Comment it down below. I'd actually really like to know what my entire audience's favorite sandwiches are. That's kind of neat. But I give you your favorite sandwich. You take a big bite and you're like, that's such a good sandwich. And then I tell you that 1% of that sandwich has a small speck of human shit on it. The other 99% is amazing. It's delicious. You could totally just remove that 1%, but you're probably not going to continue eating the sandwich because it's been ruined for you, knowing that there was that 1% of human crap in there. That is what happens when that 1% chatter comes in and ruins your day. It just makes the stream so much worse and very difficult to recover from. So while I love the interaction that you get from a good community, it's also incredibly difficult to recover when you constantly have those 1% of human coming in and just ruining it. It doesn't give you the ability to make the best content you can. Sometimes it makes you make the worst content you can. But maybe I'm wrong, and I'm totally open to being wrong. I'd love to know what your best and worst parts of streaming are in the comments down below. I recommend checking out this video right here. I made a bunch of Twitch partners, full-time Twitch streamers, pick between YouTube or Twitch, and they explain their reasoning why. It was honestly really interesting. I'll see you guys next week.